pulled an all-nighter last night, and you might be like, oh, what was it for? Like, were you getting a bunch of shit done? Like, what were you having to do to stay up all night to like work on? I was literally glued to my phone. Like, it was like my eyes were just doing this over and over, and my thumb was swiping over and over and over. It's like I was sucked into it and I couldn't get out. And I literally like feel like I have such an addiction to TikTok, especially TikTok and Instagram Reels. Like, that format can suck me in and suck me in and suck me in. There was a point in time in 8th grade, or not in 8th grade, it was during COVID, like right after that, when I would have to go to school in the morning and I would be sucked into my phone. Like, literally felt like I couldn't put it down. Like, it's like I would put it down and I'd be like, I immediately need to pick this back up because I'm so sucked into it and so addicted. Like, I'm so locked in, and it is the worst fucking feeling. And I notice that this happens so much more when I'm stressed. Like, right now I'm stressed. I leave for a trip tomorrow. I have so much to do. But literally last night, like, I was so addicted to my phone. I was like, I can't do anything because I'm just so stressed. And if I'm not locked in, having no thoughts on my phone, I'm stressing about everything else I need to do, which is inherently like, cool, you're stressed because you need to get it done, like you need to take action, but I'm just not. Like, I'm prevented by my phone and my social media addiction. Like, I'm honestly so fucking addicted, and I'm over it. I'm fucking over it. Why did I not sleep last night? Like, I'm so fucking fed up. I used to do this all the time too. Like, it's during stressful times, and I'm like, I literally use that as like my coping mechanism, is just like blocking out every single thought that I have by being scrolling for hours and hours and hours. My screen time last night, I'm gonna look, I was on my phone entirely from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. entirely, completely sucked into my phone. And before that, I was watching an hour of YouTube. And I am leaving feeling so fucking anxious. I'm not feeling excited to walk into my day. It has affected me so negatively, and I'm deleting social media. Like, I seriously, like, I mean this when I say this. I'm about to take a social media cleanse. I'm gonna be traveling, and I'm gonna do 30 days no social media. Like, I have not done that in the past 10 years of my fucking life. I've been on social media every day, but this is ridiculous, and I feel like this is not how I should be living. Like, this is not how me, a 19-year-old girl in college who's in like the prime of her life, I'm fucking studying abroad, why am I living like that? Like, I need to get good sleep. I need to be doing hard things to better my life and to set myself up for success. Like, time is something that you invest and not spend, because the way that you spend your time is an investment into your future and how you can spend your future time. What the fuck is scrolling doing? What the fuck is it doing? It's literally just giving your money away. But like, if time were money, anyway, but it's not. Oh my God, I'm so frustrated with myself. 30 days off of social media. I'm coming back here in 30 days and I will tell you how the fuck it is and if my life is better because of it, because right now I'm feeling so anxious and I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. So here's my little rant. I love you guys. This is nothing. This is not a like posting problem. This is a consuming problem. This is a Sam problem in my scrolling habits. And I know I'm not the only one who feels like this. So if you feel like this, I understand. I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna tell us how it is after. So in 30 days, I'll be back. And I'll be telling you. I'm gonna start this in like 2 days, or literally when I post this. I don't fucking know. But that was my last straw, so. Mwah.
Look at the state of the market. It's a race to the bottom, where everyone wants the prize, but nobody wants to pay the entry fee. Today, we're analyzing a specific brand of delusion, the idea that your presence is a substitute for value. We're breaking down why high-value men are choosing silence over these arguments. Let's look at the data.
So I cut my social media consumption by over 90% the past 2 weeks, and here's what happened. First, I realized people don't suck nearly as much as the internet makes it seem. Yes, dating is hard, friendships are complicated, socializing can be awkward. But when you actually look up from your phone, like while ordering a coffee, and strike up a real conversation, you realize that the man-hating feminists and woman-hating misogynists are actually totally rare. Most people, they just want a connection, a smile, a few kind words. I also started asking people in real life what they thought about the internet's hottest topics. And you know what? The average person isn't commenting. They're not posting, they're living. And that doesn't mean that the comments don't matter, but it does mean that the loudest voices online often don't represent the majority, just the most addicted. Speaking of addiction, I started sleeping again. I stopped ending every night scrolling Twitter, watching people manufacture outrage like it's their job. I actually picked up a book instead. My mind felt way quieter and less angry. And if you made it this far, here's what I really want you to consider. Your brain might be addicted to fake outrage. It's not just that you're frustrated with dating or society. It's that you're hooked on content that keeps you that way. Every angry hot take, every video that trashes the people you're mad at. It gives you a little dopamine hit, a rush of righteousness. It feels like truth, but it's just brain candy. And the more you consume, the more bitter and dependent you become. It is okay to consume content that validates you, but please be honest with yourself. Are you consuming it in moderation, or are you medicating with it? Because the internet is an addictive substance.
Is social media actually ruining our lives? The answer to that is yes, to an extent. First and foremost, I want you to think about what you watch and look at on social media. A good majority of your feed is only the top 1 to 5% of people in the world doing something. So you're constantly comparing your life to that life. No wonder you're so depressed. That's gonna happen. Furthermore, a lot of social media will actually promote certain propagandas. Social media can influence people's minds in ways that you would not believe. So not only are you comparing yourself with the top 1% of the world, but you're also being shoved things that are subconsciously influencing your mind toward a certain way or propaganda. There's actually an element of control here through the AI that these companies have, and there is no way that constantly just scrolling, getting dopamine hits all day could ever possibly be healthy. It's not. And if you're gonna sit there and say, yeah, social media is a great way to connect to people, sure, but with the way that we use it in our society today, it is tearing down mental health. And in my opinion, there should be some sort of limit or something to how much social media we can use. Humans are not evolutionary evolved to see the whole world like we do on social media.
Social media is so embarrassing. Why am I a grown man waiting for a girl to reply to my selfie with a selfie? And when she doesn't reply, I get offended like it's a personal attack. This generation is ruined. You know, men used to fight wars and build cathedrals. Women used to feed and clothe entire households. Now we're here playing this game. You know, she saw me looking good and said, nah, he can suffer today. Cool. Love that for me. And I post one picture with decent lighting, and suddenly I'm checking my phone like it owes me money. Every buzz, and I'm like, uh-oh, that's her. It's never her. It's Chase Bank telling me I'm broke. All right, and this is modern courtship. Our grandparents wrote handwritten love letters across oceans. You know, people used to worry about building families. And now we're out here trying to emotionally connect through Instagram filters and pretending we didn't notice when they viewed our story but didn't text back. What a disaster.
This is a controversial opinion, but I think that social media has literally ruined my generation and the way that people communicate. One thing that truly baffles me is the fact that it is an acceptable form of communication in my generation, and especially the new younger generations, to send a picture back and forth and not communicate. And that's considered like communication. Like, that is literally so weird to me. Like, nowadays, the fact that people aren't like, oh, can I get your number? I want to talk to you. It's like, can I get your snap? Like, that just makes no sense to me. The fact that generally most of the time, like, yes, you can have conversations on Snapchat, but the fact that sometimes you'll just go back and forth for days with someone sending pictures and no words, and that's like normal, it's just so freaking weird. And again, going like with Instagram and likes and comments, it's the fact that like people consider you like liking their picture like a form of communication. I know in relationships it comes up a lot as a problem where, you know, if a guy's liking a girl's picture, it's like, oh, well, he's letting them know, like, he's interested. Like, I just think all of that it just is so weird to me. And this is coming from someone who does have like a small platform in social media, and social media has been such a big part of my life. But I still think that if I could go back and choose to live in a time where social media wasn't a thing and didn't exist, I would 100% choose that over this like weird world that we're all living in.
The human brain was not designed for social media at all. You're not supposed to wake up in the morning, pick up your phone, and see a video of a guy getting his head chopped off, a post about World War III being around the corner, and then a picture of your ex in their new relationship. 10 minutes into your day and you're convinced the world is ending, your anxiety's through the roof, you feel lonely, and you haven't even gone outside yet, and then you do go outside and the sun is shining, people are smiling and laughing, the birds are chirping, absolutely nothing is wrong. So you started your day by scrolling Instagram for 5 minutes before you got out of bed, and now you feel horrible because the human mind is not meant to comprehend all these things at once, especially when they're things like World War III's happening, this guy just died, this bombing just happened. We're not supposed to get all this information in such a short amount of time. This is why we need to bring back third places in our society. In our parents' age, after work, people would go places and socialize, have a drink, grab dinner with friends, go golfing, go to the pool club, literally do anything with other human beings face to face. Now people come home from work, plant their butt on the couch, get in bed, and scroll TikTok, scroll Instagram for hours on end, and fry their brains, give themselves self-induced anxiety and depression, and it's no wonder why everyone's miserable nowadays. Get an in-person group of friends, go hang out in real life, put social media down. I'm addicted too. We're all addicted to this shit, and it's horrible for you. Horrible.
Does anyone else think about how you could be so much further in life if you didn't have a social media addiction? Like, imagine social media just wasn't a thing anymore. Like, TikTok wasn't a thing, and we didn't scroll on our phones for like 9 hours a day. Like, what could I have been by now? I waste so much time scrolling on my phone every single day. That is like a big chunk of my day on my phone that I could have been using to grow myself, like to have some sort of growth in my life. And I'm not saying that I don't have any growth in my life. Like, I definitely do, but I feel like it has been stunted. I feel like my potential has been stunted by the fact that I literally have an addiction to my phone. Like,
I've recently become so aware of how addicted to my phone I am. I was just walking out of a workout class, and you're in there for an hour. Obviously, no one's on their phone. What's the first thing that everybody picks up as they're walking out the door or takes out of their bag? Their phone. They're walking out of the class and immediately they're back on their phone. I consciously try not to do that. I wait like till I get back to my car at least. Also, when you're watching TV, if your phone is next to you, watching a show, how many times do you pick up your phone? Because I used to be picking up my phone every 5 minutes to check it. Check what? I don't know. Next time you watch a show, count how many times you pick up your phone. It's actually crazy, and I've gotten to the point that I need to put my phone in a separate room when I go to sleep, or else it's too much of a temptation for me. Didn't used to think I was this addicted, but since I've been posting more on social media, it's definitely become more and more addicting because of the dopamine hit I get when I see if I got likes or views. I remind myself, you need to touch grass. This is not real life. And this is my reminder to you that even the littlest moments that you can pull yourself away from your phone, like when you leave a workout class, when you leave work, just walk back to your car without your phone and see how you feel.
So I'm not really good at making friends, and I think I've realized that one of the main issues with it is that social media has ruined my life, and I now think that things are normal that most people don't find normal. For example, I was at my son's baseball practice a few nights ago, and two of the moms who were sitting on either side of me were talking about the books they like to read, and one of them looked at the other one and said, yeah, I was on this trip recently, and on the plane ride home, I read this book, and I'm getting excited, right? Like, I love to talk books. And she said, it was so inspirational. And I thought, oh no, where are we going with this? And she said it was about Mark Cuban and Serena Williams and like how they overcame different adversities and became so successful. And she was like, I just read that book and I was so motivated and so inspired. And the other mom was like, wow, okay, I want to read this book. Please send me the link. Like, that sounds so good. And I was like, can't relate. That sounds boring. And there was this awkward pause, like kind of silence after that, because what else do you say about a book like that? Nothing. And I realized I don't really like awkward silences and pauses, and I really wanted to join the conversation. So I let the intrusive thoughts in my brain win. And I said, and I quote, I read fairy corn. Just like that. Into the silence, I said, I read fairy corn. And they didn't know what any of those words meant. None of them. Except for the I read part. So then I had to elaborate as to what I meant by that. What kind of literature is that? I've never heard of that. So this is how I explained it as best I could. And you know what's worse than telling a group of moms who read inspirational books that you read fairy corn? Is having to explain to them what that is. And so I said, of course, corn, that's pretty easy to explain. But when I gave them the synopsis of the fairy part, I was like, you know, there's this girl who's living in poverty in the human world, and she goes and kills an animal because her family is starving. And then this wolf comes to her house and kidnaps her. And it turns out he's a masked high lord with pointy ears who shapeshifts, and he kidnaps her and keeps her prisoner in this rich palace and gives her pretty dresses and food. But then this other high lord with pointy ears comes, and he's a murderer, but he comes and kidnaps her from him, and he's got bat wings, and they're both like 5,000-year-old men, and she's like 20. And their faces throughout this conversation, I mean, it wasn't conversation, it was my monologue, but their faces were just like, you know, they're like slowly pulling their children away from my children. I don't know. I have two positions for friendship still available.
So I'm 21 years old, and there's sort of a huge problem in our generation that no one really talks about. We just completely are prioritizing convenience over interaction and experience. And we're just going to keep seeing this problem grow and grow with all these new technologies and apps. I'm just going to list out examples so you know what I'm talking about. So instead of going outside and trying to meet people, we use Tinder. Instead of going to a movie theater, we watch Netflix. Instead of riding a bike or walking outside, we get on a treadmill or we buy a Peloton. We DoorDash food instead of driving like 10 minutes to a restaurant and speaking to another human. When we want information, we go to YouTube or TikTok. We don't read about it. We don't go and talk to people and ask about it. I mean, we can literally do everything from our homes. It's kind of crazy. And I'm not saying it's bad to do the other things, but the reason that I'm sort of scared for our generation is that we're going to get so comfortable with using technology that we are just going to not even know how to talk to people anymore. And we're going to be so scared to get outside of our houses. We're not forced to go do things for ourselves. You can make money off your phone. You can get information from your phone. You can get food from your phone. You can get entertainment. You can get a girlfriend from your phone. Like, it's crazy. And while some of it is nice, I just think it's important to recognize that and make sure you're still getting real experiences and interactions with other humans.
Let's be real, man. This generation has normalized a lot of nonsense, and it's about time someone started calling it out. Some of the things that we've accepted as normal is not only destroying our generation, but also the standards for the generations to come. We've normalized cheating, we've normalized selling your body online, we've normalized the mockery of God, we've normalized chasing clout, seeking validation from others, and comparing our own lives to fake, filtered versions of reality. This constant pressure to flex and to look a certain way online is the reason why so many people are unhappy with the way that their lives are right now. Social media has lost souls, influencing lost souls. We've normalized chasing pleasure over purpose, so as long as something feels good in the moment, then it must be good for us long term as well. But short-term satisfaction does not lead to long-term fulfillment. Everyone is constantly trading all the things that are worthwhile chasing in this life for constant temporary highs, and they're wondering why they still feel so empty. And the crazy thing is that when you come against this nonsense and actually speak out, you get labeled as judgmental or outdated or whatever they want to call you. But I'm telling you, we need to stop settling for what everyone else has made normal nowadays and start setting a higher standard for our own lives. So yeah, I'm here calling it out because our generation has normalized a lot of nonsense, and it's about time that we start asking ourselves, are these things okay? If you want to create something better for your life, relationships, purpose, peace, money, happiness, you're going to have to separate yourself from everyone else, reject the noise, and stand for something else.
Scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram Reels, scrolling on whatever app is not a form of relaxation, even though you probably think it is. I was talking to someone recently about chronic stress, and social media came up into that conversation, and I said, oftentimes I'll just lay in bed and scroll on my phone and call that my end of day relaxation. When in reality, what that is doing is quite literally the opposite of relaxation. It is spiking your dopamine. So there's that. And short form content like TikTok, like Instagram Reels is pretty much information overload. Like, think about how many seconds you stay on a certain video. You're getting bombarded with so much different information that your brain is processing things at a really fast speed, whether you recognize that or not. All that to say, social media and scrolling is not a form of relaxation. And you should do things like go for a walk, listen to music without having a screen, read a book, journaling, doing things to, one, get you back into reality, right? And then two, activate your parasympathetic nervous system versus your sympathetic, and actually get into that state of relaxation. So at the end of the day, you do feel relaxed versus just all over the place and all these heightened different emotions.
What ruined this generation when it comes to relationships? People aren't even dating anymore. They're talking, catching feelings, sleeping together, and they just end up in situationships. I feel like social media has people scared of committing to something real because of the easy access to unlimited.
Reality is a tough pill to swallow, but it's the only one that cures delusion. You can either adjust your expectations to match your reality, or you can keep wondering why the top men only stay for the night. The market doesn't lie. People do. Stay logical. I'm out.